I guess I had a really tough time in high school because I was grappling with the fact that there weren't a lot of people who had high expectations of me, because I guess they saw me as a stereotype, because of where I came from. I came from a single parent home. I had interests. I think I wanted to be a singer at one point because I love to sing, but I really didn't think about my future that much until I went to high school. I guess I didn't really think about how important it was. I remember when I first started high school, I would be the person, I didn't understand anything. So my teachers would be talking and I'd sit in the back and I'd just be like, oh my God, what are they saying? And then as I started like spending time on things and I realized like one of my goals is I want to do well in school. I thought that if I didn't do well, I would probably be working at a fast food store and, not really making a living and living in a really bad apartment. My goal was like, I want to own a house. My mom has never owned a house in her life, and I want her to have a house to live in. And that's my goal. Like, if I can get A's and B's, that's great. And because I hadn't gotten A's and B's in middle school, I got C's and B's and like 2 A's. So I guess I started like really working hard at it, but then I realized that I kind of liked school. I kind of liked the stuff I was learning. It was really interesting. And so it just made me realize that, I want to put in an effort into things. Like I don't want to just do something and not feel happy with the result. I want to feel that I put in all of my energy into something, and even if I didn't do well, at least I tried. I remember that I was struggling through math, and I always had trouble with math. So I would stay like an extra hour after school with my teacher and just go over everything over and over again and asking the really dumb questions that you didn't want to ask in class because you felt like students would just, look down on you for asking the really simple question. So I'd stay an extra hour after school and ask my teacher and just go through everything just until I understood it. Whenever I would do well on a test, I would see, spending an extra hour at extra help really paid off in terms of my grades. I definitely saw a big jump. It did help me in terms of learning study habits. Like I realized that, when I'm reading, I need to take notes, and that I realized how I learned basically. I realized that I'm not the kind of person that can look at something and understand it right away. I need to go over it over and over again. I knew that if I am going to have a test on a Friday, I need to start preparing on Monday. I eventually turned into the person who would like raise my hand for every question. I was kind of that student that everybody would look at like, oh my God, she's like knows all the questions and this is ridiculous. I remember a student told me to to shut up in one of the classes. She was like, you need to shut up for one class, okay? And I was like, all right, I'll try. But it was really difficult. I started to see that I kind of liked being in that position. I liked knowing what I was talking about. I liked understanding the material I was learning. I was getting A's in a lot of my classes. I guess I didn't really see that as important, but what I did see as important was my end goal, which was to get into a good school. I guess the main thing is that you can't give up. There were so many times, especially when I was with schoolwork, I didn't understand something and I just felt like this is ridiculous. It's pointless to, keep trying. Like I'm just not going to understand this at all. And then, I had my mom there telling me like, you can understand, just spend more time on it. Sometimes you think of, people who've gotten where they are because they've struggled through something and then all of a sudden things just worked out. But things don't really happen that way. Sometimes you need to try once or twice or 3 times. Okay, so in high school, there was one other Latino kid in my school, and he had danced salsa in Venezuela, and I was like, I've always thought it'd be interesting to learn salsa. He would like come after school and just give me free lessons all the time. I would step on my partner's feet so much. That's what I would do. I just was uncoordinated. I also couldn't get the beat, so I would just dance on the wrong beat. I would do the right steps but dance on the wrong beat, and I looked ridiculous. So what would I do? My partner would stop me, be like, okay, you need to stop and listen, and would clap out the beats. And it felt like very elementary because I had to it was kind of like learning a new language, so I had to do everything step by step. And so I guess part of what I would do was, I would spend time on it on my own. I would listen to a song and I'd clap out the beats. And it's like, okay, like now I'm understanding the beats. Now what do I have to do? I need to learn the steps correctly. I need to learn new steps. So I would just take everything step by step. It didn't work out at first. I obviously wasn't doing it right. So I had to get help from other people. I had to get help from my friend, Like, I don't understand what I'm doing wrong. Could you explain it to me? Another thing I did was videotape myself dancing. Really helps you see from an outsider's perspective what you're doing wrong, to see what you look like. It really helped me realize okay, then I need to work on this or I need to work on that. I eventually was able to pick it up, but it didn't come easy to me at all. I couldn't dance and I didn't have rhythm. Now I'm teaching salsa. I'm a salsa dancer, so I get to do that. There's no such thing as someone who's just born naturally good at something, or who's innately good at dancing, or who's innately good at singing, or whatever it is. It's something that you need to work on, and for some people it's easier than for others, and for me it definitely wasn't that easy, but eventually, after working at it, I was able to pick it up and learn it.